Hello, my name is Steve Quern, and I'm going to talk about campaign creation. I was introduced to Dungeons and Dragons in 1980 with this. Now, this is not the 1980 edition, this is 1981. My 1980 version got stolen in 1995. RPG theft, along with some other RPG stuff. But between 1980 and 1982, my mom was going to promise to dungeon master me and my brother. That never happened. And in 1982, and she had cut out the Dungeon Master section of their book. And we, after 2 years of waiting, we got this section back, and we had to use braided folders to keep everything together on this side here. And I had that until 1995 when it got stolen. I purchased this like in 93, 94, before that stuff came out. And so I was using this so in 1982 my brother and I started playing with this, and in 1983 he had some friends that were doing AD&D, and one of them came over and used the Fire Lord from the deities, demigods from the African mythology, and while we were playing with this game system, and after a while we got bored and said, okay, my brother and I got bored with it, and we had our characters walking through the Fire Lord's fire aura, and the guy walked away laughing his head off, and so. But and then we got into AD&D. We started group playing with AD&D. Between 83 and June of 1986, I was in Victoria, Texas, and I was using the Red Book rules to understand the AD&D, and I was using the AD&D to understand Red Book rules. And between 1983 and 1986, June of 86, I was solo playing Dungeons and Dragons while I was group playing with AD&D. In 1984, I came up with a Dungeons and Dragons campaign and an AD&D campaign, the Cornwall campaign, Ancient Earth campaign, and they were basically parallel universes. One of the things I wanted to do, well, there's multiple things I wanted to do before I started game mastering. I wanted to list the monsters in these based on hit dice levels, and I wanted to create a monster list based on alignments, and I wanted to create a monster list based on life form types: plant, animal, intelligent, artificial, aka magical, I'm going to say microscopic, but maybe there's another term for better. Single cells would be probably more accurate, because that would include yellow mold, gelatinous cubes, and shriekers. Okay. So that's And so that's what I want to do with that. And that was a more complete system, but this was going to be the test platform. And then once I got this done, and I actually made the list. I completed the March level list. I completed the hit dice list. I completed the alignment list. I did not complete the environmental lists. I did the. I'm not sure if I completed the life form category list, but the hit dice list took me about a week. Yeah, each of the, and then the alignment took me a few days, I think. Yeah, it was just simply going through, writing down who had, it was easier. I don't think I completed the life form classification list. Another thing I did with that, the Korean War campaign, was I decided I was going to do, determine how big the planet was. So this is 84, 85. In 85, I got Traveler. My brother and I wanted to do an outer space sci-fi, and we wanted to be able to custom design our own spaceships. We went to the comic book gaming store in Victoria, looked around, spent a couple hour or two looking at various RPGs, just trying to figure out which ones, what we can do, what we cannot do. Some of our AD companions had Star Trek role-playing game, first edition. We looked at that and couldn't customize ships, so we said nope, not interested in that. I mean, we couldn't scratch design our own ships. So Traveler, we could, so we got Traveler. In 1986, I got Star Frontiers also, because the character generation was horrific in Traveler. That was gotten after I moved to San Antonio in June of '86. After I moved to San Antonio in June of '86, there's others I acquired. I acquired all my other RPG systems were acquired after moving to San Antonio in June of '86. So most of my RPG purchases was between June of '86 and December of 1989. I did do some purchase 1990, December 1989, or 1992, something like that, 91. My parents got divorced in 90, and then Dad in 91 moved to Tulsa, and I moved with my dad, and I got in a fight. So he went to Tulsa, I went and stayed with Mom in 91. And so since then I bought very few RPG systems after that. Well, yeah, I think got about 20 different game systems in total. So each game system has a different way of starting a campaign. 1, 2, 3. With Traveler, you have you create a star system. You have a star map, and you have here, and then you got a let's see here, world creation, there you go, star mapping. This takes about a couple pages. And then you have world creation, And then you make referee notes on your star map. And these are some of the tables that you're using for the processes. Processes, the star chart maps, the planetary detail maps, data, and then you got tech levels. So you can have, within Traveler, you can have a D&D type environment, no technology, mystical creatures and magic. Well, they don't. Yeah, they talk about. They do have psionics and. Okay, that's. I think psionics is two. Oh, there it is. Sonics. And book 3. And then you have animal, you can do animal creation and stuff like this. With Mech Warrior, okay, I bought Bellotech, and then I bought Mech Warrior with that. Within Mech Warrior, let's see here. You can create a player character. You have within Bellotech, you have mech pilots, vehicle combat pilots. Well, primary mech pilots and aerospace pilots. You create a team. You have a mech warrior, you have a mech tech, you have an aerospace pilot, and you have an aerospace tech. You have a scout, somebody who acts as a scout or medic. There are a couple of positions there. And so, okay, technicians, recon personnel, yeah, aerospace personnel. Then you create you generate a unit. Okay, now with it, what you do here on the when you're creating a universe, well, you have a set unit. It's set in now this is second edition, so you have then third edition introduced clans, and that's where the Mech Warriors video series comes from. So this is second edition Inner Sphere. The current Inner Sphere is missing one or two guys, and one of them is really skinny. The free worlds is really scattered, really weak. Um, yeah. So the universe changed a bit, but there are star systems and stuff. Then you have the periphery. This is second edition, pre-clan. I do not know what the clan space looks like. I do not have that. But so when you create a unit, you create a campaign. You start out with where you're located, and you have major events, minor events, and local events, something like that. Major events are house-to-house activities that has months and months of things going on, or the timeline of which storyline takes place is 6 months, a year, or multiple years ahead of the current time frame. And then you have minor events that are more close to like 1 to 6 months ahead of what you're at. And then you have local events that is immediate. So that's how that is arranged on your campaigns. DC Heroes. Basically what you do is you create a character, and then the game master picks a villain or villains and comes up with what the villains are going to do, and then the heroes try to foil the villains. So that's how, and then you have Star City, Gotham, Central City, the Vegas system, the Star City. So you got you can create your own city or something like that. But Titan's Tower, Star Labs, and so now I did play Marvel Superheroes RPG First Edition. Some of my AD&D companions, gaming companions, had Marvel Superheroes RPG, and they also had Gameworld, so I played Gameworld too. I am not familiar. Marvel Superheroes, from what I remember from playing the game, the character generation was interesting compared to AD&D, and D&D where you just roll 3d6 and what you get is what you get. Now AD&D allow let's see here. I think you could boot. Roll 3d6, character abilities, write down any special abilities. On ability score, okay, you can adjust your scores. And Red Book rules, you can adjust your ability scores a little bit. You could do the same thing with AD&D, But with AD&D, you had the option of rolling dice and then rearranging the dice to the stats you want to have. You didn't have to go strictly by the thing. Strength, dexterity, by the 6. By the 6 stats here. Strength, dexterity. What you rolled for this is what you got. What you rolled for that, went straight down the line. In AD&D, you can say you rolled the 6, and then you can rearrange the dice. And then you can adjust the scores on top of that. So, AD&D has a lot more flexibility. The Dungeon Master's Guide does have character abilities charts for NPC personalities. To help the Game Master create unique personalities for their characters in town, for the players to interact with in town when they're shopping, doing rumors, getting missions, stuff like that. So you can roleplay all that. The hero system. Okay. Back. I put it out there. Okay. This is 4th edition. I prefer playing with the 4th edition than to the 5th edition. But somebody chewed that up. A cat or a dog, I don't know who. And so I have to use 5th edition now to compensate. But hold on, let's see here. I could just get the Dungeon Master screen. There we go. Nope, that's a combat record sheet, but close enough. Okay, you have campaign rules sheet. You have certain stuff, general description of the campaign, the importance of the PCs in the campaign world, campaign tone, the morality, realism, outlook. You have physical description of the world, character building guidelines, a bunch of house rules. Then here are some more details of abilities and stuff, what's allowed, not allowed, what's discouraged, whatever. Required, not recommended, disallowed. And then here are some examples of how they did that. Actually, it goes sideways. From there to there, from there to there. So, and then you have storylines that are plot hooks based on your abilities and stuff. Marvel had subplots. What Hero System calls campaign continuity or is subplots. So with subplots, you have, right, you got the player's manual for subplots. So players can create their own subplots for their characters. And these are storylines involving character abilities and secret line. Let's see here. Subplot categories: secret past, death guilt, enemies. These are suggestions. Family, friends, jobs, power complications, public reputation, romance, secret identity, miscellaneous. Then the Game Master's Guide. And so there's notes on subplots, creating a subplot, playing subplots. Okay. Playing subplots, pulling the plug. Yeah. So that's the player's data on subplots, and then this is the Game Master's Guide on subplots. And actually up front, there it is. Page 15. So here's the Game Master's information on subplots: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 pages of rules concerning subplots. Although, yeah. And then this is one. And then this is these are examples. So you got 7 columns of examples of how the subplot mechanics work. So on top of that, you have ability to create stuff, and Marvel did the same thing. You can repair stuff. Hero system. Okay, I'm gonna knock that out. Do this. Hero system does not get into that very well. I also don't believe in unlimited skills, so I use a hero system, skill levels. Scholar. So you have academic study. Okay, so you have a high school diploma, associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD, experience in the field. Academic plus experience in the field. So those are your 6 levels, skill levels. And I use that for the hero system. Although I think there's 7, excuse me. I think that skill level 7 is for extra dimensional. Knowledge and experience for your skill levels. And then you have scientists. You have occult scientists. You can draw plans You're basically a draftsman. You can do what Bruce Banner, occultist. You can make magic items, and then you have gadgetry. You can make mechanical items. So scientists, and so that, and which comes to yeah. There we go. Laboratories and workshops and gads and not occultists. This, you can have your places where you can design stuff, repair stuff, and so these heroes gets into that way Hero System does not. So I incorporated that into my Hero System campaign. So I had to, and in order to incorporate that, I had to change the rule mechanics for the hero system to fit into the, the DC heroes to fit, rules to fit into the hero system. So that's how the campaigns work here. Now, if you're going to scratch design your own Dungeons and Dragons campaign, you're really looking at it's been 30 minutes. Okay, you're looking at monster lists. Now what I did, back in 1984 and 85, I was wanting, in 1984 I created the Cornwall campaign for the D&D and the Ancient Earth campaign for AD&D. This was a basic testing platform. Then I was going to convert that to this system here, because you have masters, companions and masters that, dominions or kingdoms, and then you get into the astral planes and the ethereal planes, the alternate dimensions, and then you get into the being gods and goddesses and stuff like that on this one. So when I read that, I went to La La Land. So what I want to do with the Cornwall campaign and the AD&D campaign and the Cornwall campaign are both parallels of each other. So what I want to do with this campaign was create a monster list, which I needed based on monster hit dice. So under 1D, 1 plus, 2 plus 3, basically that category. So you go up to 1, then you got 1 plus, up to 1, then 1, 1 plus, then 2, 2 plus. So I went and listed all the monsters and based on the hit dice and the basic rules and in the expert rules. That took me about a week to accomplish that. And then I went back, I looked at all the monsters' alignments, and I categorized them as lawful, chaotic, neutral, or combos. and that took me like 3 or 4 days to do that. I also categorized monsters by type, life, okay, plant, animal, intelligent, artificial, magical, and D&D would be magical. And then you had single cells, or macros. But you're talking, when you're talking, I'm saying single cells because I'm thinking yellow molds, shriekers, and gelatin cubes, and things like that. There's other monsters there. Those are the first three I can think of. Basically, big old messes. So I did that. Now, I got Traveler in 1985. So around that time, and because of the tech levels, you can have, these are example technologies at each level. So you got a tech level chart. And then you have governmental levels. Let's see, wait a minute. Population government. Oh, so you got different governments. Law level. Okay, that's tech level table. Technology level 1D6 plus dice managers for from the tech level trees. So you have based on planetary size, atmosphere, if there's a starport, planetary size, atmospheric, hydraulics, population, government. So you can have a D&D type setting on one planet and outer space sci-fi society on another planet within the same solar system or within different solar systems. And so yeah, you can have each hex is a parsec, which is basically 4.72 light years from Earth, from the Sol system to Alpha Centauri. That would be the 1 parsec distance. So, and then you have a sector, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you have a quadrant, which is sectors, 1 sector, 2 sectors, 3 sectors, or something like that. I forget how that goes. So it's really, so you can have a really huge star map. Within the, okay, so now with an AD&D system, you have inner planes and outer planes. I think it's in this book. Yeah. You got that. And then you got the alignment chart. So yeah, so these are the different planes. The primary material plane. You got the positive material plane, negative material plane. Then air, fire, earth, water, You have the ethereal planes, and then you have the astral. Oh, the astral planes here, then you have the ethereal planes, I believe. That's how that works. No, no, this is the ethereal plane, and then these are the astral planes. Okay. So you have that universe. So the traveler can fit in here. The traveler universe can fit in as the prime material plane. Then you have, there's all,